If you want an easy button for cooking corned beef, I've got the answer. I use my Instant Pot. The pressure cooker function guarantees tender and delicious corned beef every time. You can make it with cabbage or without, and I'll show you exactly how I do it either way. So let's begin. I start with a 3-pound or so piece of corned beef. And I also will need some garlic and beer and water, and those are the only essential ingredients. Veggies are optional. Today I'm going to make this with potatoes, carrots, and cabbage for a full-on meal. But first, no matter what, we start by rinsing off the corned beef. If you've ever opened a package of corned beef, the first thought is, my goodness, this thing is slimy. And that is the brine in which the corned beef is preserved. And so what I'm going to do is just rinse all that off. I just stick it right in my sink and run water over it and do everything I can to get rid of all that brine off the surface. The brine is really salty, right? And so I'm just kind of getting rid of all that surface stuff because plenty of it has soaked into the piece of meat. And then once you have it rinsed off, I just like to blot it a little bit with paper towel just so it's not quite so drippy. Then I will add my ingredients to the Instant Pot. That starts with a bottle or can of beer, 12 ounces, conveniently the same amount either way. Then some water, mince up some garlic, and then we're going to add the trivet to the Instant Pot. This is what we're going to set the meat right on top. And you can see that on the two sides of the meat looks different. I am placing the fat side up. That helps the fat render into the meat while it is cooking. And then we'll put the spice packet, just kind of sprinkle that right over the meat. Just cover the Instant Pot, seal it up, and set the cook cycle for 1 hour. So now you have some downtime, but when it's getting close to the end of the cooking cycle is when I just like to make sure my veggies are prepped. And in this case, all I have to do is cut that cabbage into wedges. I got baby carrots and baby potatoes, so those don't need to be cut up. So that's just kind of one of the ways I like to minimize my prep time. And then when the cycle is done, I actually do like to leave it natural release the pressure for 15 minutes. Then I'll start helping manually release it along the way. I do that by releasing the valve as well as pressing on that little float valve with a wooden spoon handle just to kind of help it along. And then when the pressure's all released, we can take the top off, get a face full of steam, and then pull that meat out of there. I just like to grab it by the trivet. If you need a nice long pair of tongs to do this, but it comes in very handy in these situations so you don't get burned by the steam. And then place the veggies right in that liquid. I like to have the cabbage up on top just to kind of steam. We're going to reseal the Instant Pot and set the cycle now for 5 minutes. Then in the meantime, while that cycle is going, I'll remove the meat from that trivet and I'm going to cover it with some foil for a good 10 or 15 minutes just to rest the meat and give it a chance to resting meat after you cook it helps the juices redistribute and it just helps result in a more tender meat experience, if you will. And then when those veggies are just about done, I can start cutting my meat up and you can see these lovely slices it'll make. If you look closely, you can see a nice moisture in these slices, which is exactly what you want. You don't want dried out corned beef. I have a couple more minutes, so I'll cover this while I'm getting the veggies out, but you can see these veggies are definitely cooked, and so they're ready to go. And I will build my plate with my veggies, my corned beef, and I have a lovely St. Patrick's style dinner. Now, generally speaking, the flat cut, which is what I made the first time, of corned beef is better for slicing. The point cut is a more tender cut of beef, so this next one I made is a point cut. I really actually didn't have any trouble slicing it, but it is definitely a more tender cut of corned beef. So if you want tender, buy the point cut and go from there. What I really love about it is it's great for shredding, and then when I have leftovers, I love to make an absolutely delicious Reuben dip, which, if you are interested, will be my very next video. So I hope you tune in for that. Either way, enjoy your delicious corned beef dinner.